Welcome to Jersey Line. Pat O'Melia here, your pro football prognosticator who didn't have a really good week last week, but made money. I went 6-10. That was awful. But we had, teams. I don't know what happened with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, he said he was going to play for Green Bay this year. It didn't look like he's going to play for Green Bay this year. He looked awful. We had, the Baltimore, quarterback. He can't hold on the ball. Daniel Jones can't hold on to the ball. Yeah, I had people dropping. They even started off with Tampa Bay on the Thursday night game. If they could hold on to the ball, I won Thursday night's game. But no, down the 2-yard line, you fumble. Another one, Tom Brady puts it right in the guy's hands at around the 4-yard line, drops it. But because in some of the games I played the line and the over-under, I managed to pull out for the week. I actually made money with the over-under. The other thing about over-under, it's very difficult to pick. If you're betting $10 instead of winning just $8, you can win 40 because the line goes up so much for you, the payoff. So if you can, take the line and play the over-under. Now, you're going to see this year, we have the bank, how much money we won. I think it's $180 starting in week 2. So we'll see how we can build that bank as we go on through the season. But here we go. Remember, bet with your head, don't bet over it. Don't bet a lot of money. Don't go nuts. You can go on FanDuel, you can bet $5 a game, $10 a game. You can bet what you can afford. Don't fool around with the rent. Here we go. Thursday night. My Giants. No. Giants. It's my Giants tonight in Washington. We're in Washington. I tell you what, Giants got to show me a lot more. Daniel Jones has got to hold on to the ball. This kid, he just can't hold on to the ball. We've got to put more together. Running back Saquon Barkley, he's not playing tonight, what it looks like anyway. Washington lost Fitzpatrick. He's out with hip injury. But to get this kid, Hickney, I seen him last year in the playoff. This kid can play. He can throw the ball and move around. I'm a Giant fan, but I'm going with Washington, and I'm going with the over-under. I'm going to take the over at 40.5. That's Washington -3, and I'm taking the over at 40.5. Now we're into Sunday. We got the Raiders at Pittsburgh. That's another game, the late game. Raiders opened up their home park. They managed to pull it off against Baltimore, but Baltimore can't hold on to a ball. Raiders are at Pittsburgh. With the game I won Pittsburgh. Big Ben, his arm doesn't look as strong, but he knows how to manage a game after all these years. I'm going to ride with Pittsburgh, even though the Raiders won last week. I'm going to take Pittsburgh -5.5. The over-run is 46.5. Cincinnati, who I liked, they managed it last week and went into overtime. You had Cincinnati. You got Cincinnati at Chicago. Cincinnati's getting 1.5. I'm going to ride with Cincinnati, taking that 1.5. The over-run is 45.5. Houston at Cleveland. Houston, they played really well. Houston surprised me last week. Tyrone Taylor did a good job. Cleveland, they fought with KC and they lost. I think Cleveland's going to have a little hangover from that KC game. The spot is huge. I'm going to take a spot like this. I'm going to take Houston plus 12.5, over-under 47.5. Best bet of the week, and I picked it last week, and it was one of the games I won on. I think the LA Rams with Matthew Stafford are going places. This is the best bet of the week. It's a FanDuel bet. I'm taking the Rams against Indianapolis. The Rams are giving 3.5, so it's the Rams -3.5. And I'm taking the over at 47.5. That's a FanDuel bet. FanDuel. Buffalo at Miami. Buffalo is going to have an edge after losing to Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with Buffalo. It's a FanDuel game. I'm taking Buffalo against Miami. Buffalo -3.5. The over-under is 47.5. I'm taking the over. 1 o'clock game. New England at the Jets. I'm telling you, the kid Zach Wilson, what an arm. He's not a big guy, but if you can keep Zach Wilson protected, you're going to win some games with this kid. You got New England at the Jets. Listen, you got Belichick. You got a rookie quarterback. He's going to confuse Zach Wilson. But I'm going to go with Zach because I like that arm. I'm going to go with the Jets plus 5.5, over-under 41.5. 1 o'clock game. San Francisco or Philly. I won with San Francisco last week. San Francisco at Philly. San Francisco was -3.5. Philly put some points on the board. The Hurts kid looks like he might have something, but Philly, San Francisco, it's a more balanced team. They had some injuries, but they got some injuries in the cornerback and safety, but I think they'll pull through against Philly. So I'm taking San Francisco -3.5, over under 50.5. FanDuel. The Saints, 1 o'clock at Carolina. You know, ex-Giant quarterback, Jet quarterback, Sam Darnold, won against his old team, the Jets. The Saints obliterated Green Bay. It wasn't even close. And, the Winston kid, he always had an arm, but, he would throw more interceptions than touchdowns. But it looks like Sean Payton's got him on a leash there. I'm going to ride with the Saints, -3.5, over under 44.5. FanDuel bet. 1 o'clock. Denver at Jacksonville. Teddy Bridgewater looked pretty good, didn't he? But the Jets were just giving the game. Give the game to Denver. I liked how Danny Bridgewater looked at Jackson. They're at Jacksonville. You got the number 1 kid. You got Lawrence there. That kid can throw the ball also. I'm going to go with Denver, -5.5, over under 45.5. 4 o'clock game. Minnesota at Arizona. I liked Arizona. I liked Tennessee last week. They were 2 of my favorite teams from last season. Arizona wiped out Tennessee. Tennessee's got a lot of work to do to recover from that game. Minnesota never impresses me. Kirk Cousins has never really impressed me. And it's a FanDuel bet. I'm taking Arizona. It's a small spot at 3.5 with the kind of numbers that Arizona can put up. Over under 50.5. I'm taking that over under. I'm taking the over at 50.5. 4 o'clock game. Atlanta at Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay will get their feet on the ground, everybody on the same page. Brady threw a couple of interceptions, but none were really his fault. The problem with Tampa Bay, they can't hold on the ball. Except for Antonio Brown. Keep throwing it to Antonio Brown. And Gronk, he can catch the ball. It's a big spot. It's 11.5. I'm taking Tampa Bay, 11.5 against Atlanta. Atlanta fell on their face last week, and I think that's going to continue. The over-under is 51.5. 4 o'clock game, Dallas at Chargers. Tell you what, Dak Prescott looked pretty damn good for a guy that missed almost all last year, and there were questions about his shoulder. I have no questions about Dak Prescott's shoulder, but I like the Chargers. You got Dallas at L.A. Chargers. I like the Chargers. I think they're going to have a really good year. I'm not sold on Dallas, but Prescott looks good. I'm taking the Chargers, -3.5, and it's a triple nickel, over under 55.5. 4 o'clock game, Tennessee at Seattle. I won with Seattle last week. I don't know what happened to Tennessee. I thought they had everything going. They got Julio Jones there. Still nothing. They got run off the field last week by Arizona. Seattle is a consistent team. Russell Wilson is consistent. They're never going to really open your eyes, but they're going to continue to win. I'm going to take Seattle, -4.5. The over-under is 53.5. 8 o'clock game Sunday. KC at Baltimore. Baltimore, well, their running backs are all out. They were grabbing guys off the street to play last week, and Lamar Johnson couldn't hold on to the ball. He ran, he fumbled. I'm going to go with KC, who looked pretty damn good to me against Cleveland. Cleveland was astonished that they lost. I wasn't. I'm going to take KC, and it's a small spot after you looked at the games from last week. -3.5. The over and under, again, is a triple nickel, 55.5. I'm going with KC, -3.5. Monday night, we got Detroit at Green Bay. If Green Bay doesn't straighten up the ship, and I tell you what, Detroit, it didn't look as bad as I thought against San Francisco. They fought hard at the end to come back, and they got it close, but still, they didn't get close enough. San Francisco covered the line for me. I'm going to go with Green Bay again. It's a big spot, too. It's 11.5. This might be the last time I ride with Green Bay. Let's see what Aaron Rodgers does. He's on Monday night, so that's usually a good night for him. I'm going to take Green Bay, -11.5. The over-under is 48.5. Remember, bet smart. Don't bet a lot of money on FanDuel. You can bet $5, $10. You don't have to go crazy. Enjoy the games. Let's have a good week. Good night. Be lucky. Take care.